join?
Yes, please ask him to log in.
Dr. Madhura, the organization Awake that you had is the one that looks after the women aspect, women care?
It's an association of women entrepreneurs. Successful women entrepreneurs started it, and they are supporting others who are beginners. So it's a supportive organization, and we are not a bargaining forum asking for things from the government. Instead, we support the newcomers and as well as very ambitious women who want to become entrepreneurs.
Very good.
Become entrepreneurs. We are silent. If I may add that Awake is a premier organization of women entrepreneurs in the country. It was started in 1983.
That's something very good. How many are your members currently? How many members do you have?
More than thousands. As I said, I've retired from my role and responsibility. I'm not too much directly involved in it, but I'm there for them whenever they want me. And it's over 1,000 or plus across the state. The entrepreneurs are more, those who become members and want to be part of an organization to contribute. That's how the organization is.
Moon Coast, Nal Coast, and Coast. Arpet Coast.
Whatever happened. Yeah, and the host, yeah.
Anita, you are line? Or Mr. Nagaraj?
Yes, sir.
Our President Velupeti,
Okay.
he is not able to join. It seems he is being directed to the YouTube.
Okay.
But we don't have the 500 members yet joining in. Could you just help him?
Both the options, probably he has to select this one, sir.
Do one thing, Nagaraj, could you please call Shankar? I've already shared his Shankarji. I've shared his number with you, and he will take Mr.
No. I'm giving the Velupathy number in the chat box. I'll put the Velupathy's number on chat box. So let him call directly.
Okay,
Nagraj,
could you
or I'll just read that. Ms. Nagraj can directly dial him.
1 second, sir. 1 second.
Shankar Bhai, he has a number.
He has a Velupathy number?
Yeah, he has a number. Nagraj sir has a number. So he can connect, he can call you directly.
Not me, let him call Velupathy.
Okay, give me the number, sir.
97403
97403
49999.
49999. Yeah.
Velu, Mr. Nagraj will call you. I'm disconnecting. Okay.
Yeah, I've shared the details with him, sir. I think it should take care. I'll once again confirm back with him. We should be going live in the next couple of minutes on, it's been scheduled for 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
A very good evening, Mr. Ananth. Thank you for joining us today.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ananth. We have Mr. Girlaji with us, Mr. Rotarian Shankar.
Good evening.
We have Madhura, Mr.
Hi,
Suresh,
good evening.
who joined in with us already.
Oh, okay. Good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
So this is a webinar or the meeting format?
It's a webinar. It's a webinar, Ananth. We're having only the panelists and our esteemed members from Rotary with us, who will be on the panel with us. And I've already shared the details with you. And I've shared a question for quite a few questions with you. We will not be asking you all the questions. That was just to give you a brief outline of what could be expected. So with the flow of the event, we will be following the format of the agenda, which was shared with you previously. The only change is that the first 5 minutes of networking, we have removed the first 5 minutes of networking, and we'll directly start with the agenda.
Oh, okay, sure. So it says live. Is it live already?
No, we have Nagraj with us, Ananth, and we will be doing the live streaming exactly at 5 o'clock. So as of now, it is more of just getting comfortable with each other, checking our audios and videos. Are we audible? Are we visible? Is our bandwidth good enough?
Yeah, sure.
Dry run. We're just doing a kind of dry run. We will be putting up in the chat window that anybody who wants to ask us questions will be using the Q&A session. If they have any comments, suggestions, they can put it up in the chat box. So as panelists, all of you will have the option of answering the question live or responding to the question in the chat box, in the Q&A section itself. So if there are some questions which you would like to take live, please respond that you would like to take it live. And we'll be doing the question and answer session only at the end, in the last 15-20 minutes.
Once again.
I'm able to see everybody logged in. I'm on the YouTube. I'm live.
No, no, you're.
I'm on the YouTube seminar. I'm on the YouTube. It's taking me to YouTube.
No, no, but you should come to the, because you have to. Anita, I think he's not able to log in.
Let me call him. Shankarji, could you please WhatsApp me his number? I'll try to call him.
Yeah, I'll just send you. एक मिनट दीजिए. You should be live, Velu.
Yeah.
One second, I'll give you the number.
Nagraj, we have Mr. Ayush Bansal also who's joined us. He's amongst the attendees. I request you to please add him to the panelist as well.
Sir, are you logged in as root?
Are we live now? Because it's 5:03, I think. We are late.
Ayush, are you able to switch on your video? Mr. Ayush?
Anita, the host has stopped my video. So
Okay,
the
just give
permission
me a minute. I will just set it. Yeah.
अभी गिला जी टाइम हो गया तो will you would like to welcome and start with the welcome? कैसे करेंगे?
Because Velu is not able to get on.
That's what.
Okay, Anita, shall we start then?
Because it's time 5:05 now.
Anita, shall we start?
Anita, you on mute. She is trying with Velu. Hello. चलिए ठीक ओके गिला जी आप वेलकम कीजिए लेट अनीता प्लीज स्टार्ट इट गिला जी विल डू द वेलकम ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ रोटरी जंक्शन
Okay, can we start?
Yeah, Anita will do.
A very good evening to everybody present here. I take immense pleasure in welcoming each one of you to today's panel discussion. And we are very happy to see all of you logging in, and we wouldn't take too much of your time. I take this opportunity and thank the Rotary Junction in BNI for giving us this platform, especially to Rotary Junction, Bangalore. Just a few words about Rotary. Most of us know what is Rotary, but just for the benefit of others who do not know much about Rotary, Rotary International is a voluntary organization of business and professional leaders who provide humanitarian services and help to build goodwill in the peace of the world. There are approximately 1.3 million Rotary members belonging to 35,000 Rotary clubs in more than 200 countries. It was founded in Chicago in 1905 by Paul Harris. And what do you think is the purpose of Rotary? Rotary clubs exist to improve the communities through a range of humanitarian, intercultural, and educational activities. Club advance international understanding by partnering with clubs in other countries as well. Rotary encourages high ethical standards in all vocations. Today, we specifically talk about Rotary Bangalore Junction. Rotary Bangalore Junction was chartered on the 5th of February 2010 with 35 members. And now the member strength is 201 members with all satellite clubs. It has 16 past presidents who guide the club. Rotarian Velu B. Pathy is the president of the club for the current year 2020-2021. A business entrepreneur, organic farmer, and having construction business, he is the MD of V Corporation Industries. He is a philanthropist by nature and major donor level 3 in Rotary. As he is unavailable at the moment with us, I would like to introduce our senior member, and he is the Vocational Service Director, Rotarian B.S. Gilraji. He is a past president and a very, very senior member with us. He was a president twice, and his knowledge is unseamable. He's a big name in the chemical industries. He is the president of 2 Birla companies and has attended several seminars as a keynote speaker. He has also been the head of events around the globe. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Gilaji to present the note of welcome to all of us. Over to you.
Thank you, Anita. On behalf of Rotary Bangalore Junction, I would like to welcome each one of the panelists. Thank Anita for Shankalalji to organize this panel discussion. And I welcome Dr. Madhura Chhatrapati, Mr. Ananthram, Mr. Suresh Kumar, Mr. AYUSH Bansal, who have kindly spared their Sunday afternoon to be with us. And we look forward to benefit from their vast knowledge and experience during this panel discussion. So let's start, and I wish each one of you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I would like to just take this opportunity on speaking a few words about BNI also. BNI is the world's leading large business referral organization with about 270,000 members in over 9,500 chapters. In 2019 alone, members generated almost $16.7 billion as revenue through this referral business. Members are supported by a global team that provides training, structure, and technology that is needed for success. BNI Bangalore, in particular, started 14 years back and is one of the earlier regions of BNI India. Balaji Pasamurthy and Ananthram Varayur are the executive directors of BNI Bangalore. Currently, BNI Bangalore has close to 2,557 members spread across 62 chapters. Till the states and the current stats of Bangalore are referrals, visitors, thank you slips, current members. We are still counting and we're looking for many more additions too. This is about BNI. Thank you so very much and happy to have you all on board. I would now next like to go on to our next part of the agenda, where I would just briefly welcome all our panelists. Gilaji has already mentioned about all our panelists. We are very happy to have you on board, sir. I would like to start with our first panelist, Mr. Suresh Kumar. Suresh Kumar is the Director, Marshall Motors Volvo Cars, and also with Team Focus Human Capital Private Limited, a HR consulting firm from Bangalore. He is a professional with over 25 years of experience in sales, coordination, and services in varied industries across the functions and geographies. He's a passionate enabler and mentor for youngsters to convert their aspirations into reality. He is very humbled from the fact that he grew from the bottom level and didn't have the misfortune of falling from the top or was born with a silver spoon. Suresh is born and raised in Bangalore. He graduated in science from the Bangalore University. He's led teams from a very young age, focusing on the dictum that every member of the team is an entrepreneur. He's fortunate to have joined brands during the infancy throughout his career, which helped him run teams like an entrepreneur than just a mere employee. He has taken up all the challenges that came his way and succeeded in most of them in varied industries, be it pharmaceuticals, automobiles, or the real estate. Responsibilities encompassed with acquisition and of customers, managing customer relationships and coordination. Mr. Suresh Kumar has started off with being a medical representative with Sun Pharmaceuticals, served with Mercedes-Benz, moved on to Navneet BMW. He has joined the Value and Budget Housing Corporation as a Vice President Sales later on, with the role of National Sales Manager. In 2014, he came back to the automobile industry as the CEO of Marshall Motors Volvo Cars, and he's been handling the business of the state of Karnataka since then. He has been invited to various BNI chapter meetings and to other esteemed organizations as a keynote speaker. He has also been a keynote speaker at the National Conference on Innovation and Emerging Trends for a Substantial Global Economy, which was conducted by the MS Ramaiah Institute of Management Sciences in Bangalore. He has delivered guest lectures with the New Horizon College of Engineering at Bangalore and at the Center of Life Skills and Lifelong Learning for the students of automobile and mechanical engineering as a part of their curriculum. We are very happy to have you with us, Suresh, and a warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Anita. I'm very glad. And that was a very flowery, in my own eyes, I think I've suddenly gone up a couple of steps thanks to you. I never knew I was this good. Thank you very much for making me feel a lot better than I actually am. Thank you so much.
No, we would get to know anyways. So with this, Suresh, I would like to just ask you, since I read in your bio sheet now that, you always dream of making your employee also as an entrepreneur. So what exactly is an entrepreneur and how do you perceive entrepreneurship? And what is the spirit that guides you and motivates you?
Thank you, Anita. When you called me and said, we're going to be having this panel discussion, and the subject was very, very interesting for me. I mean, when you said entrepreneurship, you said brand, two of the things that have always driven me throughout my career. So then I said, maybe my perception of entrepreneurship, my perception of my understanding of an entrepreneur is very, very different from most. So I looked up the dictionary and I said, let me see what does the dictionary have to say about an entrepreneur. So the dictionary said a person who sets up a business, taking on financial risks in the hope of making profit. I said, yeah, that's what everybody believes. Everybody believes whoever puts in money into a business, and especially during its infancy, is an entrepreneur. But then I looked within and I said, what does my life experience tell me about what an entrepreneur is all about? To me, an entrepreneur is any entity which has the ability to find and act upon opportunities. There is no written law, as far as I'm concerned, that sorry, I think I lost it. Yeah. For me, it is not about who is putting in the money. Any person in an organization at whatever level he is, whether right at the top of the pyramid or at the bottom of the pyramid, if he can find an opportunity and act upon it, taking full ownership for the results, is an entrepreneur. The whole idea of thinking this was, like you rightly said, whenever I joined an organization during my entire career, I noticed that I joined them when they were new in the market, either in the geography or in the market. So starting off with Mercedes-Benz, that's when Mercedes-Benz was a 100-year-old company by then, but then they were coming into the country. So I had the opportunity of handling the brand with the basic premise of how the brand needs to be handled, but in a very entrepreneurial way, meaning that there was a lot of multitasking. I mean, the whole idea of entrepreneurship for me is how well can you multitask? How can you bring all your faculties into not looking at it as a job, forgetting that every morning at 9 you're coming in and going out at 6. So this is how I looked at entrepreneurs. And since I, as a young person, wanted to be an entrepreneur, everybody under me was also told to behave like an entrepreneur. So that's my journey as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. Also, Anita, something that I realized as I was sitting and listening to everybody else was perhaps I'm the only one in this panel who is not a true entrepreneur. I have never started a company. I've always run companies. So that's how I look at entrepreneurship.
I think that's the beauty of this panel, Suresh, that we will be actually talking about both the aspects, a corporate aspect as well as the life of an entrepreneurship, because most of us have multi-businesses and we do take up jobs. So keeping it in mind that we have a mixed audience. So I'm sure that your expertise and your knowledge will be of help to all of us too. Thank you so much, Suresh. I would like to take the opportunity of introducing Dr. Madhura. Dr. Madhura M. Chatrapati. She's an entrepreneur. Ma'am, may I request you to please switch on your video as well? May I request all the panelists to please switch on your video? Nagaraj, could you please help us with that? I think Ayush is, yes. Yeah. Thank you so very much. And a request to all the members who have joined us as participants, you may please park all your questions in the question and answer sessions. Our esteemed panelists will be happy to take them and respond to your questions. We will be having the session of question and answers at the end of in the last 15 minutes. Thank you so very much. I would like to take this opportunity of introducing Dr. M. Madhura Chatrapati. She is an entrepreneur. She has distinguished herself by obtaining a simple technology of making tamarind from the CFTRI 40 years ago and growing it to be an industry. And she's become the industry leader of customer food ingredients. Her company, Food Associates Bangalore, caters to local and global food processors. Though she has not undergone any formal school trainings, she has remained to be an eternal learner. After her graduation in science, she did her PG diploma course in journalism first and then in marketing and advertising. She has topped the list in both with distinctions and gold medals. She's a founding president of AWAKE, Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Karnataka. After her graduation, she also decided that it is very important to empower the women. And that is when AWAKE came. Today, it is a global model in the spirit of voluntarism, enterprise, and women empowerment. She set up the first incubator in the country in 1988 for the food enterprises, as women were taking to food processing as an industry. Madhura initiated ASCENT, which is the Asian Center for Entrepreneurial Initiatives, to foster entrepreneurship and for finding enterprise-led solutions to development challenges. A special mention must be made to the singular honor she received from the US State Department, that is the Distinguished International Visitor Alumni Award, DIVA. She was selected from among the global nominations of International Visitor Program alumni. She was invited by the US government as a 45 days exposure to visit on entrepreneurship. She has initiated a variety of program projects, led workshops and training programs in over 40 countries since then. Her efforts have been recognized both by the state and central agencies, to mention the NSIC Award from the President of India on the Kempe Gowda Day Award from the Bangalore Mayor. She has also been awarded the Literature Honoris Causa by the Mangalore University and was also named the Honorary Professor of Tumkur University. ISBR Business School Award of Eminence in recognition of her outstanding contribution in general leadership and social entrepreneurship, and the FKCCI Lifetime Achievement Awards are a few more to mention. She has been providing expert advice, leading workshops, and conducting studies for enterprise-led development for UNDP, ILO, UNIDO, World Bank, International Trade Center, Economic Commission of Africa, UNESCAP, the EU, and the country of India corporations, and many other such agencies. She has also served as a director for State Bank of Mysore National Advisory Committee, IDBI and the SIDBI, the trustee for Canara Financial Advisory Trust, serving on the governing board of the Rural Development and Self-Employment Institute. She serves as the governing board member of Kautilya Entrepreneurship and Management Institute. She has the distinction of being the first woman Rotary District Governor in Asia, and also the first international training leader for training the district governors elects from across English-speaking countries. She has received the Rotary International's Service Above Self Award, as also the Rotary Foundation Distinguished Service Award. She has initiated 2 prestigious annual vocational service awards through Rotary Bangalore Downtown, Award for Pioneers for pioneering a much needed business or service, and the other being Women of Distinctive Vocation Award. Her passion in fostering an entrepreneurial culture, she finds time for counseling, hand-holding, and mentoring women and youth, urban and rural, in the entrepreneurship. This is what the Times of India carried as in headlines for her. Ma'am, thank you so much for making a difference in hundreds of lives of women and men. We are so very happy to have you, and welcome on board, ma'am. Ma'am, may I request you to please unmute yourself?
Thank you for that nice long introduction. I hope I'll live up to it always. Something went wrong. You're not audible.
Anita, you are not audible. You are on mute.
Yeah, you're not audible.
Sorry. Yeah, ma'am, since you've been motivating factor to many of the women entrepreneurs, I would like to understand, what is entrepreneurship according to you, and what would be that one general message to all the entrepreneurs that you would like to give today?
Entrepreneurship is about being entrepreneurial. As Mr. Suresh Kumar said, you don't have to be starting a business to be an entrepreneurial person. But an entrepreneur, is able to be problem solving, innovative, and finding resources to run a business or whatever they take up. So an entrepreneur is, Mr. Suresh Kumar is a very strong example of an entrepreneurial executive that he has been, and he has led many institutions. So I would like to go a bit beyond this word to say entrepreneurship. Quickly to say, you've asked, how does one become an entrepreneur, or what are the tips for them? Which I'd like to say that a simple thing as an entrepreneurial person is a problem solver. Every enterprise is a problem solving enterprise. It's already there. Maybe you do one better than what they have done. So there is innovation and problem solving. Then you're resourceful, you mobilize everything for creating that enterprise. Finance otherwise. So you're very resourceful, and you are able to set up an enterprise which will answer all these questions that you have. So an entrepreneurial person is a person who is problem solving, resourceful, and able to reach out to the people's need and meet what has to be done.
so very much. That was yes, that was really helpful to most of us here. I would like to give a brief introduction of none other than Mr. Ananthram himself. Mr. Ananthram is the executive director for BNI Bangalore. He is the first generation entrepreneur who started his business in 1989 at the age of 23 years. He is the co-founder of Webcom Information Technology Private Limited and Manasam Buildtech LLP, which is luxury retirement homes for senior citizens. Webcom was awarded the Premier 100 company in India consecutively for 3 years by Channel World magazine of the IDG group. Also, they were in the top 100 list of CRN and DQ channel. While his business was computer networking, his passion is human networking, which we see very much with BNI. Ananthram is the executive director in Bangalore along with Balaji. There are over 2,500 business owners in BNI Bangalore and is expected to touch 3,000 members shortly under his guidance. For the year 2014-2015, he was in the founders circle of Dr. Ivan Meissner, founder of BNI. He is also on the BNI Standardization Committee worldwide. Currently, he is having an additional role in BNI as Best Practices Team for BNI Online. Mr. VAPI is the ex-VP of AIT Bangalore, which is Association for Information Technology. He was on the executive committee of FIT-DAK, that is the Federation of IT Dealers Association, Karnataka. Ananth is a marathon runner. He fulfilled his dream of running a marathon from the city of Marathon to Athens, which is an authentic marathon run. He has done several half marathons as well. His personal best is 10 kilometers in 54.1 minutes and 21 kilometers in 1 hour 59 minutes. He's married to Ms. Sumati, who is also his business partner, both at his business professions as well as BNI. This couple has a dream to start a retirement home project for senior citizens attached with an orphanage so that seniors get the company of grandchildren and other kids, and the kids get grandparents as well. It is such a noble thought. Please welcome Mr. Ananthram, the Executive Director, BNI Bangalore. Thank you so very much, Mr. Ananthram. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the invite, Anita. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be along with Dr. Madhura Chatrapati. I don't know whether you remember me, madam. Myself and Sumati, we used to quite often visit your office in Malleshwaram around 25 years back when we were quite young into the business. Okay, along with Rambhat. So he used to help us a lot.
Very much so.
Yeah. So good to share the panel along with you, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm equally delighted.
Ananth, before we just move on, I would like to understand what exactly is the mantra for success. What do you think is the mantra for success? What is your definition, and what do you think is the biggest challenge that one faces in achieving it?
Okay, Anita, if you ask me, I don't say anything as a success. I mean, what I mean exactly is there is nothing called as a success. Once you feel that, yes, I'm successful in doing this or doing that, then you become complacent, and then probably that may get into your head actually. So what I call this success is a milestone. Okay, for every time we achieve a particular milestone, that is the success for that particular milestone. That's it. Okay, from then onwards, you have much more responsibility to do. Like for example, when we say that, okay, we have helped around 2,500 members in Bangalore or the entrepreneurs. So the moment if I feel that itself as a success, that is going to stop me. So if I have a thinking that, yes, we need to help some more people, okay, that's the next milestone. So to me, there is nothing called as a success. Then it becomes a kind of an end. So it has to be a journey. Okay. So I always enjoy the journey rather than looking at the goal or a destination. So that's my definition.
Very well said, Ananth, that yes, success is always a journey. If you look at it as a destination that you've reached there, then you are stopping the doors for growing further on. So very well put there. And with this thought of talking about success, I take this time and pleasure in introducing our next panelist, Mr. Ayush Bansal. Ayush Bansal is a young and a dynamic entrepreneur who's made his way to become the executive director of VAPI VALSAD region through his dedication and hard work. Preferring to have a startup and then becoming successful over having one successful startup over one's family-run business is not what everyone chooses to dream and is determined about. But here we have Ayush Bansal, who chose the other path. He is truly an exhilarating example of dreaming big and making it happen, as he lives by dare to dream big, and this rightly justifies him. Ayush started his journey in BNI as a member in December 2016, and since then holds many world records under his leadership. 28th July 2017 marks an important day in BNI history of 33 years when Ayush made a world record of launching the world's first senatorial chapter and the largest chapter with 112 entrepreneurs. He holds another world record for launching the second largest chapter with 102 members within 74 days of the launch of the first chapter. He is the youngest executive director of BNI World and is now responsible for growing the VAPI-VALSAD region. VAPI-VALSAD region holds many world records under his leadership. They have invited up to 704 visitors, 600
ANANTHRAM, AYUSH.
and 623 visitors at the first three launches respectively. Not just that, under his leadership, the VAPI-VALSAD region created a world record by launching 4 chapters back to back, that is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday within the same week. And it does not stop here. He's just unstoppable. He amused the BNI world again on 25th August 2020, very recently, by achieving another milestone along with his team by launching the first double senatorial and the largest chapter in existence till date with 231 members. Ayush has been touching new heights in the BNI world and has been a global speaker in many countries. He believes in taking everybody on board, and that's the secret to go far and long. Ayush's brother Piyush Bansal runs a successful commercial laundry startup along with him, and also they do have a digitalization and records management business. Ayush's wife Swati Bansal runs a training startup helping entrepreneurs to grow through different learnings. Ayush is a hardcore networker and believes in opening new relationships each day. So ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Ayush. Thank you so very much, Ayush. We are very happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Anita. Absolute sheer pleasure to be here amongst the stalwarts of Bangalore, all the way speaking from Gujarat. So what could be a better chance to speak in front of amazing people surrounded with hi Ananthram. Glad to see you. Madhura, Dr. Madhura, I've just read your bio sheet and that's amazing. Suresh, I have nothing to talk beyond cars. You come from Volvo background, and that says a volume about what experience you come from and how compassionate and passionate you would be regarding speed, which is related to my business, right? Because I completely believe that speed is the essence of all the businesses in the world. And when you yourself is in the business of speed, I can very much relate to it. So thank you, Anita. Thank you for having me here. In fact, being the youngest, I have the advantage to learn from each and every panelist over present here.
I'm sure that there will be lots of takeaways for each of us from all of you as well. So Ayush, I would like to start with the same question. What, according to you, is the definition of entrepreneurship, and what should be the perception or the mindset of an entrepreneur when you talk about speed, when you talk about ambitious, being cautious, being optimistic? What, according to you, is entrepreneurship?
Oh, again, I relate this to Suresh, because again, he comes from a Volvo background. So there's a wonderful saying, Anita, which says that no race is won in the first turn, but most of the races are lost in the first turn, right? Entrepreneurship is a very different journey. It's a very beautiful journey. When I believe that a person who inspires thousands of people, 100,000s of people, and million thousands of people to change the way the entire world is doing anything or everything is entrepreneurship for me. As Ananthram mentioned, there is no bar of succession. It is not to beat one another's record, not to beat the record of Bugatti Veyron, not to beat the record of somebody else, but to create a milestone for oneself and then just keep achieving it and help people transform their lives. To create a lifestyle of their own is an entrepreneurship to me, right? Being ambitious is definitely a part. Being optimistic is definitely a part. But yes, not to forget how cautiously you take every step forward and then achieve and then just change the way the world is doing things.
Absolutely, absolutely, Ayush. And since you've been giving Suresh and the Volvo cars as an example, I would like to move on to Suresh. Suresh, I would like to know from you. Please tell us that how does this spirit of entrepreneurship guide you? And we have witnessed drastic changes in the industry now. So what is your take on the recent changes?
Thank you, Anita. Well put. I have had a roller coaster ride, and that's a very normal entrepreneur lifestyle. Every time I made a change as far as my personal job was concerned, I always picked up something which meant that I had to roll up my sleeves and work hard. And that's exactly what entrepreneurs do. They just roll up the sleeves. They don't say, this is not my job. Every job is theirs. That's the spirit of an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur spirit is about saying that everything in this business I am passionate about, and I'm going to roll up my sleeves and do it. And the pleasure that you get when you achieve something after having rolled up this thing is what we all look forward to. That to me is success. We were talking, Anant was talking about success. For me, every day is successful when I, like an entrepreneur, roll up my sleeves, do something, sweat, blood, tears, and all of that, and then wake up next morning and say, you know what, again, I'm going to go back and do what I did last night. And that's the spirit that has, kind of kept me going. I started off in pharmaceuticals, then I moved to Mercedes-Benz, which came into India in about 96, 97. Then from there, I moved to BMW, spent a good 10 years there. And when I started with BMW, they were in their infancy because BMW India had still not happened. We were still an importer. So I could do everything my way. Of course, there was always the BMW limits, but then I could do it my way. And then suddenly out of the blue, I quit the industry and joined a real estate company. Again, when I say real estate, we're not talking about a company that was building mansions. We're talking about a company that had an ambition of building homes at 600 square feet. And everybody said, what's wrong with you? You're selling cars worth ₹1 crore, and today you're going to be selling an apartment for 8 lakh rupees. I said, that's what I want to do. But again, a startup, again, we did something spectacular. Then when I came back to Volvo, again, it was like a startup because we were selling 80 cars a year. And in about 4 years, we had grown by about 300%. And that, I believe, is because I looked at every opportunity like an entrepreneur would. Because like Dr. rightly said, it's about identifying a problem. It's about identifying an opportunity, rolling up your sleeves and getting that job done. That's what entrepreneurs do. And that's what entrepreneurs should do. And anybody who does it should be called an entrepreneur, irrespective of whether he's making money, whether he's investing money, doesn't matter. Anybody who rolls up the sleeve, finds a problem, fixes it, is an entrepreneur.
Very, very well put, Mr. Suresh. It is very right of you to say that anybody who actually puts in their efforts, finds a solution to a problem, is an entrepreneur. Having said that, Mr. Anant, I would like to bring this question to you. In your journey, you have come across budding entrepreneurs, the rise of performers, and you have seen emerging leaders as well. What is your advice to all of them?
See, for any one want to become an entrepreneur or budding entrepreneurs, so my first advice would be just follow your passion. Okay, that's it. First thing is you should know whatever you are doing, you should know why are you doing that. Okay, the moment you answer your question of that why I am doing this, that's it. Like as all of both Suresh and Madhura was saying, like am I here to solve one critical problem of this society? Okay, that's what should be our motive. Okay, if that is not there, if you get into any business or an entrepreneurship with an intention of making money, you will never make it. Okay. But the moment you get into a solving of, it could be anything. It could be solving a particular segment or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But are you addressing one very, very important aspect? Like, for example, very initially when I started the computer networking, that at that time we realized that many people had the computers, but people were not knowing how to network these computers to each other. Okay. So that's the time we got into we found that opportunity, saying that, okay, there are hardly anybody, there are so many people selling computers, but there's hardly very few people doing the networking job. Okay, that's the one which we took up. In fact, I even remember the first time when we had to lay a fiber optic cable, I had to airlift the fiber optic cable. Can you imagine airlifting the fiber optic cable, such a heavy one? Okay, because we needed that. Okay, that's the kind of thing where I have sold even 1,800 rupees per meter. Today it is available for 10 rupees, 12 rupees kind of a thing. Okay, so that's the time when very early we found that networking is an opportunity there. Similarly, the next one, my journey of a BNI, if you look at for any entrepreneur or a business, when you start, getting a new customer is so important. Okay, and that's where the lot of energy, money, and everything gets invested. So we wanted to solve that. The moment I came to know that, okay, BNI can solve this issue, then we jumped in. Okay, and finally, in my own business of retirement home for senior citizen, we know that there are a lot of children that are settled worldwide for a compulsion. Okay, their parents are here, and so now they are always worried about their parents. Who is going to take care? What will happen to them? Every other day they keep making phone calls and things like that. So they are always worried about what's happening there. So can I create an atmosphere or a place, safe place, where I can take care of all of them? So both myself and Sumati, we researched for more than 4 to 5 years. We were just researching everywhere. We went and stayed in so many places, and then made a lot of notes and then got in. So my suggestion to everybody is just follow your passion. And then first thing is understand why are you doing that business? That's it. Okay. Then money will follow. Okay. That's what I want to say.
So if I just have to sum up what Suresh and Anantha have just shared with us, one is it is all about problem solving, putting in your efforts, and it is not only about making money, it is also about making relationships. And following your passion is very important, is what Anand said. I would like to ask Dr. Madhura, ma'am, what had motivated you to get started at a time when not many of them would have risked taking up a venture or coming up into the industry and doing things? You have come a way long with 40 plus years of experience. So in those times, it was very difficult for entrepreneur, especially if I may mention a woman entrepreneur, to take this step. So what was your motivating factor?
Number one, I must say that I was never treated as a girl in my family. They never said you're a girl. That was never expressed at all, not even by mistake. So I was brought up as a person. That's the first thing that helped. And my father was the kind who encouraged when you wanted to do something new and different. So there was no problem. I had finished my both marketing and advertising and journalism diploma, and I wanted something. I was not very clear what I wanted to do, but I was not going to go for an employment. But by a sheer coincidence, when I visited CFTRI, they gave me a sample of tamarind powder to try. When I tried it, it is very simple. It's a powder like salt you can add. I felt, oh, so many women will benefit because they have to soak, squeeze, do all that hard work just to get some tamarind juice. So I felt it would be a good product. So I just took up this technology and started off. That was my motivation to say that this will be a good product in the market, because then instant food had come, MTR foods had come, people were ready for taking something new. So once I set it up, you would be surprised. It's a simple technology available with CFTRI. Even today, for 40 years, there is nobody else. I'm the sole producer in the country. I have a consumer market also that is, it's sold in the name of Dry Time. Everybody knows, but it's bulk. My food ingredients grew from there. I started selling tamarind powder to somebody like MTR when they wanted to use for their sambar powder or something like that. Thereon, I make a whole range of food ingredients. Anything people want, For instance, somebody for chips, they want, mint powder, I'll give them. Somebody wants green chili powder, I make them. So it's custom made against order. It's a very unique company. We don't have, stocks. We sell it against order. Make against order and sell it against order.
If I may say, ma'am, if I may say, it was just a very small and a simple idea. And you believed in yourself, you believed in your product or your service, and you just took it forward. And that is what got you going. And here you are today, not only with your own business, but also the motivating factor for so many other women entrepreneurs. And with your other institute called Ascent, you are guiding so many of us. Thank you so very much. And so the one of the takeaways here is just believe in what you do. If you're confident of what you're doing, and if you are sure that this idea is a good idea, you should always take the risk of doing it. Having said that, I would like to come to Ayush. So Ayush, what has helped you reach where you are today? Is it been success all the way, or were there some setbacks, were there some learnings? What has got you here today?
Of course, Anita. So I definitely come from a business background, but I never chose to be a part of my family business. I hail from a very, very small town in Bihar, migrated to Delhi, came all the way to Gujarat. I always say that's what I've learned. And because my family always used to it comes from an old traditional and a conventional business model. Okay. They always used to tell us one thing, that just keep doing the good work and luck will follow you and everything happens. I don't believe that luck always follows you or makes the right things at the right time. But believe me, when I came to Gujarat, it was a very hard journey and very hardships, because I never knew how to speak Gujarati. For the first time I felt, because textile is the major dominating part of Gujarat, for the first time I ever touched sari here, because being a bachelor when I came, I entered here like 5 years back. I always say that because I've read it somewhere that all the top Fortune 500 companies in the world, Anita, 2/3 of the people have something in common. That 2/3 people come from a military background, and out of those 2/3 people, 1/3 comes from martial art expertise, right? So what's the most common thing in them is focus and discipline. I was a person who used to get up at 2 in the afternoon or maybe 3 in the afternoon when I just shifted to Gujarat, coming all the way from Delhi, because that was how I was raised. Because I was not caring for anything in the world when I just grew up and came into this journey of entrepreneurship. But suddenly when things comes to your shoulder, you get your hands dirty and you do whatever it takes to be successful and whatever you want to reach and wherever you want to reach in life. So
I think we've just lost Ayush for a moment. As we get Ayush back, I liked what he said. He said that, it is not always luck which matters. Luck may follow, but it is your hardships, what you have done in your hardships. It is all about your focus, your discipline. You should know what you want to do. And it is at the end of it, when you take up the responsibility of doing things, that is when it always matters that, success will always follow. Till as we just get Ayush. Yes, Ayush. I was just summing up what you had said, so you can please continue.
I don't know, where did I stop? I don't know till where did you hear me actually.
So we heard about about the focus and discipline, which is brought you. You used to wake up at 2 a.m. in the mornings, and once the responsibility comes on your shoulders, that is when you realize the value, and that is when you start going.
So true. So there are people.
Actually, I used to 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yeah, actually, it is 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's not 2 a.m. in the afternoon. In the morning. It is an absolute spoiled brat. Yeah.
I was just trying to. I just wanted to see whether Ayush is correcting me or is anybody going to pick it up. I was just quietly watching everybody, and Ananth has that eye to detail,
So believe me. So it's not something to feel bad about. It's something to feel very proud about, because I accept I was a spoiled brat, and there's no harm in that, because I lived my life. I lived my teenage life being, brought that way. And today, actually, I'm able to inspire so many people across the world, and I'm happy about that. So for me, happiness is that. And talking about that, Anita, there are a lot of people who do not do things by heart set. They always follow mindset. That's a hollow victory, I believe. That's an absolute hollow victory. If you don't have a heart set of doing, and if you don't have the right mindset to do what you're doing, you will never be able to be happy in whatever you're doing in life. So for me, if you ask me personally, I don't know Again, with all due respect to Suresh, Dr. Madhura and Ananthram on screen, right? Everybody has their own journey and their own experiences and tips and bits to share. I'm just sharing the tips and bits of my life. Just being 29, I'm just sharing parts of things which has given me success, and I'm happy wherever I am. So yes, Anita, that's absolutely over to you.
Thank you. I mean, this is very precisely well said, that it is all in your mindset. And I remember Dr. Madhura also mentioning this to me when I was just having a small discussion offhand with her. I had asked her about the women entrepreneurs. What are the misconceptions about women entrepreneurs? How do you guide women entrepreneurs for those who are going to venture out into the corporate world? So, Dr. Madhura, I would like to call you now, and I would like to take your piece of advice, or the way you would like to guide the women entrepreneurs.
First, the thing is that you need to forget you're a woman. You're a capable human being. If you set yourself on that, it's best, because that's what has happened to me. I was never treated or told you're a girl, repeatedly at home or outside. Because you are a capable human being, you can deliver. Of course, there are certain, the societal and other perceptions still persisting, but you can always overcome that, provided you work. And I have seen ordinary people who make very good businesses. I've seen rural women with just a bit of guidelines, they are able to do. So it's once they start doing, everybody says, look how nicely women are doing, and the others follow. So my approach has been treat people as capable human beings first. Taking into account, yes, they are women. In some way, our society looks upon it in a different framework. So we tell them, okay, face it, but then you do your work and they accept you as a capable human being, and then you work forward. So that has never been a challenge, but also they've had very good role models. If you think that me and Kiran Majumdar started business together, see where she is. So one can be what you want to reach and how you want to reach. But that is what the training, as well as business counseling and such interaction that we carry out. Personally, I do a lot of business counseling, from just start up to anything. They get an idea, they don't know where to go, they come to me. Just one or two words, go here, do that, go to I send them sometime to a domain expert. They get the inputs and they start. So they need some hand holding sometime.
Very, very well said. And just as Ayush and Dr. Madhura said, it is all about a mindset of a person. So the minute we start thinking or believing that we are women and we have limitations, we are actually imposing certain limitations on ourselves, by default. So yes, we need to change our mindset, and glad to hear this coming from both the men and the lady. And Suresh, I would like to know, since you're representative in the corporate industry, I would like to know that, what impresses you the most when a candidate is, given his bio or a CV to you, and when you need to hire someone, what about that person impresses? Is there any tips, or is there something which you particularly look forward to?
Hiring is something that I do very unconventionally, and I've always done it very unconventionally. I am not very driven by academics. I mean, I'm sure lots of people on the panel and others are highly qualified, but then I personally don't look at academics at all. I take a lot of risks with my hiring. I've always gone ahead and told myself, I go by the gut. One is possibly I have a very strong gut feeling. Number two, when I talk to people, I kind of get I like people who are as passionate as I am. I mean, you got to be on tenterhooks if you're going to want a job. So if somebody comes across as that, I'll try and hire them. And the third most important thing in hiring, when you hire on gut and not go by the conventional way, is you should be ready to embrace failure. I have hired lots of people who haven't fitted in. Doesn't mean they're bad. doesn't mean that they don't fit in elsewhere. They just didn't fit into my jigsaw puzzle. But then I'm okay with it. I still continue to do the same thing because I like to say the same story again and again. I don't like to change my story. Maybe, I'll do my course correction, but I will not change the course. If Columbus hadn't, if he had decided to turn around and come back, we would have never found America. So I look at it like that. So there could be course corrections, but my hiring has always been on gut. I'm not too excited, neither am I. Academic qualifications are something that I'm not very worked up about. I go by my gut and I'm willing to see failures. But trust me, when you are ready to embrace failure, the number of failures that come your way diminish by a very huge margin. You don't see too many failures. Point is, you got to embrace it. You should be ready to embrace it. And then I must have seen a few, but then for the number of risks that I've taken in life, I think I've seen very few failures as far as hiring is concerned.
Yes, Suresh. We just lost you for a moment. I think there was a...
You did? Okay.
But still, yes, we do get the thing that, time and again, what is being repeated amongst all of us here in our discussion is being passionate about what you do. And we've always heard that failure is a stepping stone to success, provided you don't give up. So, and you don't make it a habit. Making failure a habit is where, you are putting yourself in the wrong line of business. So having said that, I would like to come to Mr. Ananthram. In your years of experience, what do you think are the top 3 do's and the top 3 don'ts for budding entrepreneurs?
Wow. Okay. If I have to say 3 do's for the entrepreneur, first thing is, or the budding entrepreneurs, let's say now anyway, I'm a part of BNI. The first thing I tell anyone is first join some network. Okay. So join a group, because that's very, very important. In fact, as Dr. Ivan says, any entrepreneur or any businessman has to be a part of 3 types of networks. Okay. The first type of a network is something like your own industry. Like suppose if you are from the automobile industry, you should be a part of an association of the automobiles. If you are from the IT industry, you should be a part of the association. Okay, that way, once you are a part of the association or any other thing, you will come to know what's happening in your industry. You can't be isolated from your own industry and then stay away. The second type of a network is something similar to Rotary or Lions, what we are there right now. Rotary is doing the fantastic job where you are giving back something back to the society. Okay, that's the second type of the network where you have to, it's a social network. The third type of the network is what we call it as a hard contact networks like BNI. Okay, it's like that is where you will start expanding your business network. So I always tell, because there you get an experienced people with 20, 25, 30 years of experience, and even the young people. Like for example, we have AYUSH here. So when in BNI, when all of us are still playing the test matches, so with, launching a chapter at 30 members, 40 members, even 50 members, he suddenly comes up with an idea of launching it with 230 members. Okay. So, because they come with a variety of ideas. So you should have, so these are the type of the organizations which will provide you the varied kind of the, connections. The second one is always collaborate. Okay, don't think that every other person sitting around you is your competitor. Never ever think that all others are your competitors. Start collaborating with the people. Start looking with the people with a positive eye. Because the moment the people are getting into the entrepreneurship or business, oh, I want to hit this guy, I want to hit that guy, I want to hit. That's the kind of thinking it is going. But we will never survive with that. And then follow the passion, as I said earlier. Okay, that's very, very important. So when it comes to the don't, I would always say that don't get into the rat race. Okay, so there is no point in getting into any rat race for your thing. Like in running also, always we keep trying to achieve our PB. Okay, I call it as a PB. That means your personal best. whatever I was yesterday, am I better compared to my yesterday today? Okay, that's it. Okay, so no getting into the same. And don't get stagnant in the business. Okay, like what happens, many people, okay, we have done it and this is fine. Okay, and then you become a kind of a complacent. So don't get into the stagnation. And the final thing is, don't create any enemies. Okay, that's important. Like there is no point in having, I mean, all of us, I think COVID has taught a lot of lessons to us. Okay, there is no point in getting into the creating with knowingly or unknowingly in your entrepreneur journey, you are bound to create some enemies for you. Okay, very cautiously work on that and then don't create any kind of enemies. Okay, I think that's my 3 do's and don'ts.
I think you've summarized it very, very well, because irrespective of the business or the industry we represent, it is very important for us to network. And as you rightly said, that, we need to have our networks within our industry. We need to have our social networks like Rotary. We need to have our business networking forums as well, because they are not only here to grow our business, but at the same time, they help us in growing and developing ourselves as individuals. There is a lot of learning. And one aspect which any and every entrepreneur should definitely be open to is lifelong learning. The minute you think that you are done with learning, you are closing the doors to success by your own hands. Having said that, I would like to come to Mr. Suresh. Mr. Ananth had mentioned that, these are COVID times, these are testing times, and we are under stress. Okay. And as an industry, we are sure that even you have observed a lot of different work cultures and a lot of stress in your own field. We would like to understand what do you see as the upcoming trend now, and what culture of business or what kind of a behavior attributes to creating a success here on now in the coming days.
Thank you, Anita. This is something that actually I'm very, very passionate about, is how do customers behave? Like we all say, I mean, the customer behavior has changed drastically from, say, 20 years ago. I'm talking for an industry which is a premium car industry. Let's assume that I'm talking about it, but which can be interpolated for premium products or less premium products. You could interpolate the same thing. Today, in any business, it's a very thin line between products and services. So the customer has a huge choice. He could sit down and choose what he wants to choose because the line is very thin. Now, let's assume that I'm talking about premium cars. We have, say, a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, an Audi, Volvo, or Jaguar, Land, or whatever. All of these are the products. If you were to go back and see, most of them, all of them make very similar products. Now, what is that which makes a client want to do business with my brand? This is what I teach my people. I tell them, now that all the brands as we perceive, the global brands are all the same in terms of a consumer, for him, everything is the same. What is that differentiating factor? That's when I tell them, you should become the brand. Every entrepreneur. So if in my case, I'm making my sales staff behave like entrepreneurs, the same thing happens with you as entrepreneurs, all of you who are listening up. The defining thing at the end of it is, if the consumer looks at you as a brand and he likes you as a brand, he is going to do business with you. And at the end of it, at the bottom of everything is a transaction of money for services or products. That's what we are in the business for. We are in the business of making money. Let's understand that. But this will happen only if all of us start to create an ecosystem in which the consumer finds you to be a brand that he wants to be associated with. And if you are running companies which are slightly larger, ensure that you percolate this downwards. Every person has to behave in a way, has to become a brand on his own. The brand equity that each of us can bring together, a collection of a lot of small things done well is one large thing done well. People say, look at the larger picture. I say, look at the smaller picture. Get every individual in your team to do his bit perfectly. A lot of perfectly done small things is one large thing done well. So I don't advocate, step back, look at the larger picture. I always tell them, get closer, get microscopic, do your small things right. Like coming to office on time is something that you can start off with. I mean, it could be as simple as that, but then do everything right. Clients are going to become more tough right now. The reason is not because of COVID. COVID, according to me, is something that has come and gone. You shouldn't worry about it. The whole ecosystem has changed because there is so much of competition, and the defining line between one competitor and the other is very, very small. So the only reason why somebody will do business with you is because you as a brand do something for him which he's not getting from somebody else. That's how I look at customer behavior going forward. How do you control customer behavior? By controlling yourself. You become a brand which he would love to have. I mean, all big brands are aspirational, right? I actually have told this to a client a long time ago. He asked me, what's the difference between this German brand and that German brand? And I was working for one of them. I told him 4 different things. Then he said, what is the 5th one? I told him, I'll tell him 5, and I stopped at 4. I told him, the 5th one is, the only way you will do business with me is if you buy this brand. And he laughed. He did business with me because I wanted to become a brand at that point of time. I told him everything else being the same between this German brand and this German brand, Stuttgart against Munich. The only difference was me. If you wanted to do business with Munich, you had to buy the car from me, right? So that's what you got to build. Each of us has to become an entrepreneur. Each of us has to become a brand. Don't piggy bank on the brand that you have. Create your own brand.
I mean, that was wonderfully put, Suresh. And many times looking at the larger picture is what we lose out on the smaller things. And as you rightly said that, yes, we need to get microscopic. We need to do small things which make a big difference. Coming on time saves a lot of other things. It is just being there at the right time, doing the right things in the right way, in your little ways that might make a bigger impact. And yes, if you cannot represent your own brand, there is some problem and you need to really work on this. Having said that, and since we are talking about these difficult times, I would like to come to Ananth again. And Ananth, I would like to take your opinion on this. In today's current situation, where there is stress and uncertainty and adversity all around, what is your suggestions to the entrepreneurs for a bounce back now? As an industry, we got Suresh's point, and as for entrepreneurs, I would like to take your point of view.
So, see, okay, I mean, you're talking about current situation kind of thing.
Yes, see, as of now, it is a current situation of pandemic maybe, but you know, there are always ups and lows. When we talk about business, every businessman goes into the risks of the highs and the lows. So yes, today the stress is a little too much. All of us are getting a little too worked upon. What are the rituals? What are the practices that, you know, can keep us motivated and keep us going? What do you think is your take on all these?
Okay, so first and foremost thing with any situation, what I say is you should never get panic. Okay, like the moment when you are in panic, you cannot react to the situation in any manner. Like your reaction will be emotional, or your I mean the reaction will be something instantaneous and things like that. So the only thing is you have to just sit back and then think about the situation and then work on that. And the second thing is you need to mitigate the situation very, very early. Okay, the very early stages you have to get on to the mitigating the situation. Like for example, just take up the current situation itself. The BNI worldwide from past 35 years is a hard contact group. That means we meet on a face-to-face only. Okay, in the sense this is never meeting other way. It's not a BNI believes in meeting on a face-to-face in person only. But on 17th of March, with a click of a button, the whole country became online. Okay, that means we started working backward, and in the sense much earlier. Our CEO Graham Miller. So what he did is he started preparing when the first pandemic happened in China, much before that. Then he started preparing the whole BNI world for that. Okay, he started telling them, start doing find out the whatever the online mediums available and the video conferencing tools available, meeting script, that, this, and so many things he started working. So he started getting into the online world much, much early. And then he also decided to buy the license for 1 year. Okay, like somebody might have thought that, okay, 1 month, 2 months, it will go away, but he never. Okay, now we are already more than 6-7 months now from March. So that's very, very important in the sense, first thing is don't get panic, and then you have to work, work early to mitigate the situation and then get on to the thing. And then when you are saying about the other practices or whatever it is, I mean, I very strongly believe on the fitness. Okay, first thing is, if you are a businessman or an entrepreneur or anybody for that matter, but specifically to the entrepreneurs, you have to keep yourself fit. Okay, because so many families are dependent on you. Okay, it's not only your own family, at least about hundreds of families are dependent on you. So for that, you should be very, very fit. Okay, so you have to take care of yourself. I'm sure there are so many ways. I mean, I love running, of course. So I mean, that's the time for me to do a meditation. In fact, when I do an hour running whenever I'm doing a marathon, it will take a much longer time. 3 hours, 4 hours, actually, you are literally doing a meditation during that running. Okay, and then a lot of ideas you get, a lot of things what you can do. I'm a kind of a solo runner, so I like running alone also. So that's how it is. So you have to develop some practice for yourself, okay, to make yourself calm.
I think that's very, very important. Along with self-discipline, taking care of these small habits of doing what you like, keeping yourself occupied, doing a small bit of meditation, or doing your running or your exercises regularly, does help in keeping our mind calm. And once our mind is calm, it helps in improving our thought process. I would like to come to Dr. Madhura now. Dr. Madhura, I would like to ask you, what, according to you, are the challenges that you are foreseeing in the world of entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to tier 2 and tier 3 cities? We have seen that you are doing a lot of work by even encouraging the entrepreneurs there. Since it is going online, since we're getting technical, we're getting digital. So what are the challenges that you foresee for the industry at the moment, and how do you guide entrepreneurs to overcome these challenges?
First, the location does challenge us and the way we look at the location we are in. But there are many organizations and enterprises that have come up in such small cities and grown in so big. So let us not, we need to look at the kind of location we are and what are the challenges in that location and how do we overcome those problems. Because basically entrepreneurs, first thing they see or to see is what is the problem, how do I overcome. One is not only to create a product usually that is needed in a, when there is a problem, product or service or many other things, but also how do we face this problem and how do we overcome this problem or work with the problem. That's the first thing. So we need to kind of, what happens is that whether, as I said, for women entrepreneur as well, a whole of today, I mean, what I heard from others was he, she never came in there. The businessman, there was never a business person. So the smallest thing we overlook because we are used to certain things. Therefore, we need to address it, whether it is women or men. There are challenges that they need to look at, and how do we, in a given challenge, start take that challenge as an opportunity. That's what all through we've talked. Every problem is an opportunity. How do we, that's the entrepreneurial venture. So first prepare the mindset, because we tend to say you're in a backward area, it's going to be difficult. Most often these are the negativity that upsets, but from what I have seen. And how do we get them to think differently? Once they need some guidelines and they need some support. The governmental supports are all being offered all the time, but people don't even know how to use them. So they need people who can handhold, who can guide, and who can advise. That is what we need to create. And one of the things that happens we could do is to create like BNI or organizations everywhere, so that there is a place where they can go to and seek advice, get their someone to handhold, someone to guide them. These are what is lacking in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because it's more prevalent in other. That's how I would look at the opportunities, because they need a lot of service, many other newer products and many such things. The opportunities are there because they are not getting what is available in the big cities. And we need to look at those as well. So we need to look at them as great opportunities rather than, in a way, but wherever that has happened, we've trained people, brought up people in the area to look at what is most opportune moment now to look at. So these are what we need to do. All of us who are in the area, or we are in the leadership, or we are concerned, we are committed, we need to do this to see how do we guide them. Here is one opportunity, take it. So
I think that is
what is needed.
I think the point which you mentioned on hand-holding, giving the guidance, I think that is something which most of the budding entrepreneurs would need. I would like to route this question to Mr. Ayush Bansal. Ayush, this question is for you. In today's scenario, or in any scenario, I wouldn't want to really say it's the scenario, but in general, what I have noticed is that, there are many people who are worth their capabilities. They are confident of what they're doing, of what they're going to deliver. They know it all. And what happens is there's kind of a chicken and egg situation, right? When you want to take a big order, when you're trying to pitch in for something which is very big, you don't have a portfolio backing you. Okay. And what happens is when you want to approach, they ask for a portfolio. When you don't, and until you get one such order, or you do multiple such orders, without that first one order, it is very difficult for you to build that portfolio. So Ayush, I would like to know your take on this, and what is your way of guiding people who are stuck in this kind of a chicken and egg situation?
So I would relate this question parallelly with what Suresh mentioned here. Now, what is the difference between so many German cars being sold on the same parallel levels, who come from the same background, more or less the same way? Because if you're driving a Mercedes, then you would not find a difference driving in Volvo, or maybe coming from a BMW, or maybe coming from all the cars in those parallel lines, right? Everyone always waits for this breakthrough, Anita, what you mentioned. Every single business owner waits for this one breakthrough. They never see people. People call it, and believe me, when people crack these kind of deals, people call and tell people that, see, he was lucky enough to break that. They never ever saw that what actually went in to break and make that thing happen, but they just call that person as a very lucky person, right? So all I believe here is, look, something which is called patience and perseverance, which does not really come from me actually, but the question, makes me patience and perseverance. The question asked me to speak on this basically. So you have to be patient. I've shared a story, a beautiful story relating to it. If you permit me for 2 minutes to allow to speak on this. There's a beautiful story on Chinese bamboo tree, okay? Chinese bamboo tree, okay? So this is what, so when a farmer sows a seed, okay, the Chinese bamboo tree does not lay out the sprout above the ground, even in 1 week time, or a 1 year time, or a 2 year time. It does not even lay out a sprout in 5 years time, right, Anita? But despite, when you move on after 5.5 years, in 8 weeks time, the Chinese bamboo tree goes from 1 inch to 80 feet to 100 feet long tree. Right? People think it was a joke. It was not a joke. Believe me, the Chinese bamboo tree, to withhold that size and the entire length and the strength, had to work on its roots, the basic roots under the ground, right? So it can have the fruits, right? We forget tending and work smart. We generally forget to, work on our roots to make it very strong, to have that kind of fruit from the Chinese bamboo tree, right? So all I want to say here is, you have to have the art of, mastery. You have to master at whatever you are doing. You have to really just get one egg, one kind of similar thing at whatever you're doing. And if you're mastering at that, believe me, there's nothing which can stop you. Look, what Suresh said, again, I'll add to that point, because that matches on the same lines what we think actually. Here comes the thing of your passion, okay? Here comes the thing when you sell. Okay, so you are selling yourself as a brand there and then. Because the person is not buying, because the person has already come in with a mindset to buy a luxury segment car. The person has already come. All you have to do is you have to speak with the full conviction. All you have to do is present with the full passion. So the person is at first place buying you here because he's already bought that car in his mindset, right? So that breakthrough, every entrepreneur needs that breakthrough. And believe me, with patience and perseverance, that breakthrough will come if you have mastered the art of what you are doing. So with this comes the beautiful quote, Anita, once again, that rather than doing 1,000 things 6 times, do 6 things 1,000 times. Be a master at what you're doing. And believe me, one day the Chinese bamboo tree, because every business owner has the Chinese bamboo tree within, just waiting for that breakthrough. And every business owner is waiting for that breakthrough. And people who call that lucky, no. Luck is only when a preparation is meeting an opportunity. So nobody's going to see that how hard you have toiled. How you have literally toiled. If you have lifted a refrigerator on your back, or you have washed washrooms, or you have cleaned sofas in any other's home, nobody's going to see that. Everybody's just going to see that you are lucky. I'll just ask all the entrepreneurs in the entire world that it's just one breakthrough, and you have just to master the art of whatever you're doing, and that breakthrough is going to happen in your life.
I think you've put it very, very well.
May I may I take a minute and a half, maybe? Coming from the retail luxury industry, this is something that we do day in and day out. I am a great advocate of do not look at results. What's in your control is efforts. Keep doing the same thing again and again and again and again. So every time I attend my morning meeting with my sales team or something, which is not very often, I only tell them that. I tell them, if I ask them, what are you going to do today? I don't want an answer. I'm going to get one booking. No. That's not what your job is. Your job is, I am going out there and I'm going to make an amazing presentation. I'm going to meet this client. I'm going to give him an amazing demo. I'm going to give him a presentation which he's never going to forget in his life. I don't want to buy a car. I want him to remember me. If I went to the market and if I met a client, the client will not forget me. He might not buy my car because my intention is not to sell. This is something that I will tell all the entrepreneurs. Never go into a sales call with the intention of selling. Sale is a byproduct of good work. Go with the intention of doing good work. Go out there, make a kick-ass presentation. That's it. Coming back to your question, Anita, how does a new entrepreneur get that big deal? Yes, he might have to wait for the Chinese bamboo to grow. Keep on watering it every day. Get your presentation skills better day after day after day after day. On the 8th day, your presentation skills will be much better. On the 30th day, you will break it. And then within the next 6 days, like Ayush said, it's going to grow to 80 feet.
Suresh, I was just waiting you to pop into the screen because I was seeing your excitement to answer this question. And that's what being panelist is all about, Speaking on what you really want to speak and what you like to speak on. Anita, as I told you, it's being a master of what you're doing, right? Because as he said, he's doing it day in, day out, day in, day out. It's whatever you are mastering at doing it. Well, very well put up, Suresh. Absolutely. Very well put up.
Thank you. Thank you, Anita.
Very well put, Ayush and Suresh. I think this makes a lot of sense that we should not look for results only. What is in our hands is putting in the right efforts. Perseverance, your hard work, your efforts, the knowledge that you have, the skill set that you have, the go-to attitude, just going there and doing it is what matters at the end. And yes, we all should be waiting for our bamboo shoots to grow, and it will grow one day. Thanks. This has been very amazing way of putting things, both Suresh and Ayush. I would like to request Anant to take this next question for me. This is regarding when we talk about one business, yes, we know what we are doing and our focus is aligned. But when we talk about multiple businesses, one of the trends that we're seeing in the new entrepreneurs is having multiple verticals of business lines. So what would be your steps to ensure that all our businesses do well?
Oh, yeah, before I go to that question, even I want to add to the previous one. So like, especially in BNI, we keep talking about the farming versus hunting, right? Like you need to be a farmer rather than hunting for the business. So that's what we were doing in my earlier computer networking business. You know what? My customers were 95% of them were government sector. Okay. like specifically the defense and the power plants. It's an amazing working with these people. All are scientists and then very learned people. Okay. So what I used to tell my sales team at that point of time is, see guys, your work is to go and create a solution or give a solution to one of their existing problem. So now if you give a solution now, prepare a bill of material, submit it to them, and they submit to a government, get the budget, and then sanction it, then tender it, then it comes, then they will release it, then you apply it. If you become L1, if you get the order, okay, if everything goes in a lightning speed, okay, I'm telling you again, if everything goes in a lightning speed, it will take 9 months to crack a deal. Okay, so if it goes in a normal speed, it will take about 2 years or whatever it is to get one deal. So I was talking to my sales guys only about going and creating that particular solution and presenting it to them. That's it. So the later the process will take care. Okay. And when the tender opens up, even only the L1 or somebody, whoever is lowest, will get the order. Don't bother about that. Okay. But you have given the fantastic solution to them. Okay. That's what is matters. Anyway, coming back to the questions with respect to the different verticals and things like that. See, nowadays, you know what, there is a kind of a tendency or a fashion saying that, okay, I'm doing multiple businesses. I have invested here. I have invested there. I've done so many things and all. Yeah. So, but what I believe is, I mean, you can, good to have a verticals within the business. Okay. Suppose if one particular business of yours can solve multiple problems of a similar industry, why not? Okay. But the only thing is, I mean, I don't know whether it is a good thing to get involved in so many things. Okay. But within that particular, like, for example, now we are into the retirement home for senior citizens, where we are physically building the apartments, and then there we are taking care of them. Okay. Probably tomorrow I may have a tie-up with some other builders and then start talking to them and working with them and saying that, okay, I would like to take up one block of yours and then I will do a similar one. Or probably some of the people who are staying at home, but still they need a service, then I would say that, okay, I will give you a same service at your own place. Okay. So that's the different kind of the verticals. That way I'm focused about what I am doing. So rather than getting totally into the, okay, tomorrow the PG business is really good. Okay, let me get on to that, or some other business is good. I mean, so going behind multiple things, I don't know whether it really works it. And if somebody has got that kind of a bandwidth, that's left to them. But according to me, creating a different verticals within your own business, there is a huge opportunity. And that way you can work much closer to your customers.
I think that's really well put, Mr. Ananth. And I would like to ask Ayush. Ayush, what is your take on perfection? I may take this question to Suresh and Ananth also later, and Dr. Madhura. So we'll keep it very short and crisp. What is your take on perfection, and how relevant is it to entrepreneurship?
All right, so I don't believe there's anything which is called perfection exists in this world. I don't believe there's perfection. There's something which is close to perfection. If you've really achieved and attained perfection, there's nothing beyond that. And I believe only God has that power and that thing to achieve beyond that, right? So as Ivan says, I would just relate to it, that if you think that you are the smartest person in the room, it's the time to change the room. So same, if you think that you are, if you're really perfect, then it's time to leave for a boat, then nothing beyond that is left. So there's nothing called perfection according to me. Just keep putting your efforts, just give your 100%, start giving your 100%, and just, you need to just develop your day from a day previous and just keep working for a day to future. That's all about perfection to me.
Yeah, I think it was just as we had this discussion on being, being better than yourself on the previous day is what Absolutely. You say. What about Suresh? Suresh, what is your take on perfection?
Yeah, I just stole a few words from my mouth. The moment you said perfection, I was thinking about that. I said the day you reach perfection is when you should be sitting under the Bodhi tree and you would be called the Buddha. So you're never going to reach there. Trust me. If you believe you have to reach there, then like you rightly said, buy yourself a ticket to the Himalayas, just go away. You're not needed here anymore because in 2,500 years, there's only been one Buddha. That itself is, I think, a clear indication that, perfection is not possible.
The reason why I asked this question was basically because
we are never going to be perfect in whatever we are going to do. And I believe that if someone says they are perfect, you are in the company of an amazing liar. Because I love my people coming back to me and saying, you know what, I made a mistake today. My only contention is make mistakes every day, but don't make the same thing again and again, because there are a million new mistakes to make. Why are you repeating the same mistake? And the day a boy comes up to me in my office and tells me, sir, you know what, I didn't make a mistake. I know for a fact he had an awesome movie with his girlfriend. He didn't work. I'm sure about it. Because if you tried to do something, you'd make a mistake. So perfection is something that I don't believe in at all. And I don't even work for perfection. I just work to do better than, like you rightly said, better than yesterday. Can I do the same thing better than I did yesterday? That's how I look at perfection.
The reason why I put this question to the panel was because I think this is one mind block which most of them have, Either they think that they're doing things so perfectly, they're doing things so well, but still they're not reaching their breakthrough. Or they feel because I'm not perfect enough, I'm not able to, crack this, or I'm not able to do this.
Anita, the problem is within, according to me. Who defined perfection? They defined perfection themselves. They did not define it right. I think they didn't get the X and the Y coordinates to meet at the right place. That's the problem. So you can't blame perfection for it. You should blame that they haven't analyzed their business well enough. I would look at it like that. If someone tells me that, I tried everything perfectly, I didn't achieve. No, I think you didn't get your definition of perfection right.
Very, very well said. And I'm sure if in case Ananth or Dr. Madhura have something different to say, would you want to add on, or if it is the same, we can move on?
Yeah, it's more or less same. Just I want to give one more example. In my earlier, when we were doing the computer networking business, so like whenever you are doing a networking for a brand new premises, like where the IT company or where there is a lot of glasses, and so many things are there. There is a chances of we breaking something, right? So people will be. So I had a rule in my company. If whenever my employees, if they break some glass or break something and spoil something while doing the networking, if customer complains me that your guy broke, okay, whatever is the cost or an expense for that is to be borne by my employee. But if my employee comes to me and tells me first that I broke the glass, I did this, and then the expense is on the company. Okay, so I would say that, okay, you come and tell me that you made a mistake, I will bear the cost. Okay, but somebody complains about you saying that he did a mistake, but you have hidden it. Okay, that means you are not learning, you are not growing. Okay, so that means you have to pay for it. Okay, that's the thing which I wanted to say.
Very true.
So Ananthram, to add to your thing, it's just similar on the lines what we say to what our parents tell us. मुझे बाहर वाले नहीं बताना चाहिए कि तुम बाहर स्मोक कोने में कर रहे थे छुप के. मुझे तुम आके बता दो कि तुम स्मोक करा कर रहे थे छुप के, ताकि मुझे दुनिया ये नहीं बताए कि तुम्हारा बेटा स्मोक करता है. On the same panel lines, on the lighter note. Thank you, Ananthram.
Just for the lighter note, if I have to say it for the lighter note, when we were in college in Mount Carmel College, our HOD of Commerce Department used to come and tell us, the entire commerce department is sitting together. So if a student has attended the economics class and has bunked the commerce class, and that student is kind of, notable and can be picked up easily, they used to have this discussion, and very often the attendance used to drop from 12 o'clock downwards, because movie jane ka time ho jata hai wo. And so once the HOD came and told us, if you all want to go for a movie, you can come and tell us, and we will give you attendance. I think that was the biggest mistake there. And continuously for 1 week, there were a batch of students who tried to seize this opportunity. So when an opportunity is given to you, you should use it in the right way. It doesn't mean that you misuse the opportunity. So that was just on a light note. Having said this, I would like to ask Dr. Madhura. Doctor, I would like to know from you, you've been handholding many entrepreneurs. So share some experience, something which was, something which you look as a victory of guiding somebody, and something which made a big difference, and a small step from your end made a big difference. Would you like to share that experience with us, please?
There are many such instances. Even a simple thing, very well educated, well organized person who had started off, online selling of some of the women's product, like homemade, the powders and things of that kind, chutney powder and all we do in Karnataka. And she was doing okay, but she was not growing. And I saw what she was doing. The focus was so closely only Karnataka. I called her and said, look, why don't you look at the other same kind of chutney powder is not done in North Karnataka, not done in Andhra, not done. At least start off with South, add range. Today, she's one of the biggest marketing, and she has 1,000 suppliers from all over South, and she's able to kind of manage it so well. And she feels very good that she added these. These are just one simple instance. I'm just saying people just need some input which they overlook. And when they call me and ask, how do you like my website? This is what I told her. And that's what happened. So the smallest input when it is needed is given, it can make a big difference. Like that, there are many stories I don't want to, because the time is short. I just wanted to say one good input can make a big difference.
I agree. See, this was the biggest takeaway, that when you just give the right guidance, the smallest thing that you could do, you think it is very small, you may just ignore it at times, but a small guidance can make a big difference in somebody's life. And that could be the stepping stone for them to on their road of success. So I think this is something which all of us need to remember always. And having said that, I would like to take a question from one of our members here, Supreet, from Rickshaw Organics. And I do know Supreet, he's from my chapter, BNI Champions. So Supreet has a question for us. As a first generation in business, after trying new things in the market and still that miracle didn't happen, but maybe maybe you lead to bankruptcy, how do you go to the next and wait for a bit more duration? I think this is something which we were discussing already. Ayush and Suresh, I'm sure you both would be wanting to take it up.
After Suresh, or it's okay for me to go first as well.
Please, please.
All right. All right. So just, can I see the question? Okay. So the question comes from Supreet, right? Supreet, when you have developed a business, so nobody succeeds at the first place. As I mentioned, relating to Suresh, that no race is won at the first turn, but most of the races are lost at the first turn. There's very few companies, 1 in 1,000 companies, which survives for 100 years, right? So do you think just one company was formed 100 years back? Today, Tata, Birla, Ambani, Reliance, many companies you see today, right? There were 1,000 companies which was formulated 100 years back, but today we see very few companies. So what made them different and what makes a company different is, again, planning, again, the vision of the company, again, what of the team members. All right, just 1 second. All right, yes. So before we go ahead with this question, I want you to just relate to one thing. So I'm not expert of this. I have not failed in the first year of my business. So I failed in the 3rd month of my new business, what I started. I took up a franchise for a share marketing company, Kotak Mahindra, Kotak Securities, when I was there in my dad's business, because I wanted to do something. 3 महीने में मुझे अपनी दुकान बंद करनी पड़ गई थी, just within 3 months. Just imagine how disappointed I would be. Just a young guy who, it just leads to disappointment. That's all I can say, right? What led to it? That shows that if a business closes in the first year, we were not prepared by any resources, believe me, by any resources, not just the vision, not just the team, not just the finances, not just the management, and not just the sales, anything and everything, because we just failed in the first year. And that's completely okay to fail in the first year, because if you fail and shut down things, look, I tell 2 things to people. It's completely okay if you failed in the first year and you try to shut it down and open something new. But the other way of seeing it is like, why did not you try post first year to make it successful? Because you would have thought to make it successful at the first day that you would take this company to a greater heights, right? So there are 2 different things of seeing this angle. Supreet, to answer this question in a much elaborated way, I would want to have a one-to-one with you, rather just answering a quick question for 2 minutes. So I'll just sum up here that you should have a patience, perseverance, build up a team, have a vision, and everything in pipeline, right from the a good team, a good vision, a good planning, a good strategizing, a good a financial backup, and everything falls for success and the failure of the company. It's not one thing, it's all the 4 pillars and the 5 pillars of the business which falls at, everything should fall at the right place to build a powerful company. Suresh, you can just add up to it.
Supreet, I am not a master in this because I've never started a business, number one. So obviously there was no chance to fail in it. But then what I would say is, I'm not just going to blindly tell you that, oh, keep going, you'll succeed. No, because I don't know your business. Like Ayush rightly said, maybe a one-to-one might help. But in the face of it, what I suggest you do is go back to the brass tacks. Go back to the basics of what is the business you wanted to do and find out exactly where you made your mistakes and do not repeat them the next time. Now, if I always give this as an example to my thing. Let's assume that you are on a road. Okay. You have to go 350 kilometers and there is nothing at all. There is no road turning here, there. After 2 hours of driving, you decide that, okay, there is no petrol bunk, there's no restaurant, and you turn back and come. How many hours did you drive? You drove for 4 hours, because 2 hours going up and then coming back. Whereas your destination was only 3.5 hours away. If you had, meaning that if you had continued to drive in the same direction, maybe you would have reached your destination. The point is you are giving up. I don't know about your business. I don't think this is the right forum for me to give you a business advice. But then what I'm trying to say is, as a human, you got to go back, sit down and decide, what is it that I made? What were the mistakes I made that I became bankrupt? And should I continue doing this, or should I do a course correction and do something else? I'm sure you will come back with an answer for yourself, because this is a question which only you can answer. I don't think anybody can help you with this, because you are the master of your business. So you should understand where you made your mistake and then fix that mistake. It's not very difficult. There is a hole in the boat. Fix that hole. Don't abandon the boat.
I think that's a very, very well put answer or a suggestion by Ayush and Suresh, that when there is a problem, we need to fix the problem. And as Ayush really correctly put it, that that there could be a lot of reasons why a business may not succeed in the first month or the first year, be it resources, be it your vision, be it your engagement, be it your maybe the first or 2 months you must have set over expectations. Maybe the first 2 months, because the expectations were not met, you started losing the focus over it. So yes, there are multiple reasons for it. And Suresh, I think what Suresh also rightly said, that you need to look for a fix and look for solutions which can help you better. I hope we've answered that question for Supreet. We do have another question by Sunita Venkatesh Murthy, and a question is, can we call entrepreneurship as nothing but just ownership, as ownership is doing what it takes? So Ananth, would you like to take this question?
Okay. First, I would like to answer that in a different way. What is entrepreneurship? Like, there's a big joke about that. So entrepreneurship is nothing but when you're working, you're working for more than 8 hours and then you don't have freedom. And then you want to become an entrepreneur so that you have all the freedom with you and you have all the time with you. And then you end up working 24 hours, actually. So that's the entrepreneurship on a lighter note. And then many times, the people who are, I keep telling this in many places also, I have told this, many people, they think that if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, your other things, right? Your car, that, this, and so many other things. And they think that oh, wow, it's like riding on a, whatever, the lion or a tiger. Okay, they think that, wow, this guy is going on a tiger. Only I know that if I get down from the tiger will eat me. Okay, so that's the reason I keep continuing to be riding that. Okay, so it's that. So having said that, it's not, I need to create more leaders. Okay, I need to, like, whoever worked with me earlier, I'm sure at least more than about 30, 40 people have started their own companies. Okay. So I always feel that You have to create more leaders. You have to create more entrepreneurs. Okay, that should be your job. It's not that worrying, saying that, okay, I won't teach this, I won't teach this, I won't teach this to my person because he may become my competitor. No way. I mean, there are so many of my, I met one of my staff on the road. I was just walking in a market, and then his office was nearby. And then he took me to his office, and then he told, sir, please come, please come. He insisted me so much that I want to come to his office. When he went to his office, his chair, like whatever, the boss chair. So he told me that, sir, I want you to sit there. I said, no, yeah, that's your chair. I want you to sit there, and I'm going to sit this side only in the visitor's chair. So he was feeling so proud to sit in front of me on the other side as a boss, because always in my company, he had sat on the other side, right? Okay, now I was sitting on this side. So that is the proud moment for us. Okay, you have created more entrepreneurs, you have created more people. That's so it's not that you owning a business. Okay, you don't own the business. You actually, the business is owned by each and every person, whoever is working for you. Okay, that's what is the entrepreneur, I feel.
Ayush, do you have anything to add to this?
To add to the question of entrepreneurship, right, Anita?
Yes, because I feel that there's more to entrepreneurship than just ownership. There's more of accountability, there's risk taking, there's a lot which goes. So would you want to elaborate a little more on that?
Okay, so people have taken, I'll call my generation as well, because even I'm a millennial today, I'll call my generation, people have taken entrepreneurship to a different level of, everybody gets inspired and awed by entrepreneurship today, which is happening across the globe. Everybody wants to come under, I have raised $1 million, I have raised today, I'm a unicorn. Everybody, if you talk about, more or less, people just talk about the glamour behind, coming on screen, being covered by the paparazzis and all. I think most of us would agree to it that this glamour is inspiring. In fact, taking a lot of people ahead, while we are creating a lot of entrepreneurs on the way, definitely, but we are ruining more than that, many lives, because people are taking it as myth and they are not able to justify and get into, like somebody mentioned, what makes you close a business in 1 year span of time? I'm sure the person who has closed the business in 1 year time, I'm sure about that person, even not knowing that person, you would have invested at least 2 months of your hard time researching about what to do of that company, right? Entrepreneurship is, it's taken by myth today. You have to work on the conventional routes, the traditional models, and bring something innovative with your dedication and the focus, building yourself as a brand and impacting lives and inspiring people. That's all your journey should start with. Rest you have to all leave it to, good things happening all the way. Guys, we have to believe one thing, very few people in what will happen 10 years down the line, okay? So what we do is generally, aaj humne kaam kiya, today what we did, it became successful. Tomorrow we did something else, it even became successful. Day after tomorrow we did something and it even became successful. And that's how we talk. Nobody can say where would you land 5 years at the right place at the right time for the right person. It will not be 5 years down the line, right? So all I want to say is don't just get swayed away by the paparazzi and the glamour of being called as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of things what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and definitely I encourage people to leave up jobs and many things, do things which takes them, but you have to find a purpose. You should know why are you doing it. Had not Suresh got an opportunity to be an entrepreneur? Definitely yes, but he's clear with his why, right? He mentioned never been an entrepreneur, right? So he would have definitely got a chance, but he chooses to bring and build selling the top, luxurious thing in the entire world. When I went to college, I told my dad, I would never come to business. Believe me, guys, till my first year. So I'm a college dropout. I failed in my 12th once, and I'm a first year college dropout. I don't know, studies, academics, zero hai meri, right? First year when I went down, मैंने बोला पापा मैं कुछ भी दिल्ली में नौकरी कर लूंगा लेकिन आपके धंधे में वापस नहीं आऊंगा क्योंकि आपके धंधे का ना 12 पता होता है ना 2 पता होता है. So I don't know anything about that. I did not know even what is called debit and what is called credit. I always wanted a suited, booted company to work for, chilling with high-end people, talking good things around, having coffee, sipping coffee, and partying Saturday, Sunday. Because I know it was a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 job, right? But believe me, it does not happen that way. Once you taste what entrepreneurship is all about, you would have a different feel. So that particular time, I wanted to work for somebody and build my own company. But today, when I went towards this, I feel like I'm doing the right thing because it's solving my why purpose. My why purpose. Okay, everybody has their why purpose. So that's how the journey is all about. So don't get, my only request is don't get swayed away by glamour and entrepreneurship quotient.
I assuring you, I just always feel like, what comes first, what comes to my mind is that the grass is green, always green on the other side of the fence, So when we are sitting here, we feel that, a life like Suresh, AC office mein baithe hai, just as I said, sipping coffee and all that. It looks very easy. But if I were to say, I'm sure Suresh has something
Actually, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's all I do. Go to the office, have a cup of coffee, chill it out.
No,
I mean, jokes apart, what I said made a lot of sense, right? When you have a cushy job, you know that you need to go into the office. Now, I'm not saying that that's what I'm doing. Maybe I do more than that. That's a different story. But then I have the choice. I could go in at 9 o'clock, leave at 6 o'clock, and no one's going to ask me a question, right? So, but if you were an entrepreneur, like somebody rightly said, Mr. Ananth rightly said, you will start to work 24 hours a day. That's exactly what's happened right now. My wife is an architect. She quit a job and she started a practice. And earlier she used to crib about second Saturday being holiday and third Saturday you have to work on. Now 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, she's in front of a computer. Difficult thing. Also, I was just looking at the question from Miss Sunita. I get a feeling because of the inverted commas that she has given about ownership, what she means to say, according to me, is entrepreneurship about taking ownership of everything? Yes, I think that's so whether you're an employee, you could still be an entrepreneur if you take ownership of everything that's happening in the organization. If you say that, okay, if the day you say this is not my job, you're not an entrepreneur. The day you say everything is my job, today the people who clean up my office haven't come pick up the mop and do it, then you're an entrepreneur. Because as an entrepreneur, all of you who are in this group would have done all kinds of jobs. I mean, you never said it's not my job. Yeah. So I think being an entrepreneur is about ownership, owning up to everything that has to be done. That's my understanding of a question.
Actually, this is getting very interesting, but due to the paucity of time, I think we can just take this one more last question. This question is from Shastri, who's from Bangalore. He is the Secretary Rotary Kormangla and also from the BNI Pragati chapter. I think his question is for Dr. Madhura and to Mr. Ananth. First, I would like to ask them to look into the question. What level or percentage of spirituality is it in the entrepreneurial journey? Or to a certain extent. But yes, we'd like to hear Mr. Ananth and Dr. Madhura.
Okay, should I go? Yeah. See, actually, I think Ayush has already answered this. There is nothing called as a luck. Okay. So are you in the right place in the right time? That's it. Okay. So that is what is more important. If you call that as a luck, okay, then the definition changes. So that is why there is nothing called as luck here. So what or the percentage of spirituality is it in the entrepreneur journey? I did not understand that portion. What level or percentage of spirituality is it in the entrepreneurial journey when we are talking about the luck so that's what. So you can't keep waiting that something is going to happen. Okay. One day, one time, something is, I'm going to become this much or I'm going to become this much turnover. No, you have to actually work towards that. As Ayush was also saying in his bamboo story, the bamboo was working downwards. Actually, it was not keeping quiet. Okay, it is on the face of it. You may feel that nothing is happening, like the duck, right? And then it is not doing any work. But at the bottom, it is continuously pedaling. Okay, so that is what exactly is. It is not that you keep waiting for something to happen, keep praying, and then go to all the temples on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, or whatever it is. So if you ask me, the spirituality is like how happy is my people around me, how happy is my customers. So that's the spirituality. Okay, I think if you are focusing only on that, that will bring in every luck, whatever it is. So that's what I strongly believe.
Yeah, and luck is just as Ayush had mentioned, luck is when preparation meets an opportunity and you're doing perfectly well there. You know what you're doing. And yes, when it comes to spirituality, it is more of a very inner feeling. It's very innate. It is to do with your calmness. It is.
Can I add something here?
Yes, Ayush, please.
Okay, just pardon me if I, Mr. Shastri, you mentioned something on spirituality, right? That means when you put up a question, there's something which is very close to your heart. So I understand spirituality is something very close to your heart, right? There's no content and amount and percentage of spirituality which you have to really put into a business to make the business successful. I would rather suggest you to build a business close to you, because the question is that, right? This is something which is very close to you. It's never bad in making money out of something, because end of the day, you are helping someone. Guys, what is the meaning of customer? Okay. Somebody taught me, I don't know where did I learn, with deep gratitude to the person who made me learn this. What is the meaning of customer? Kasht se mar, right? Kasht se mar is a customer, right? So if you're making money out of helping someone out of some problems, what's bad in that? In the entire world. So you can definitely think on those lines. There are a lot of things: spiritual healing, spiritual learning, spiritual tourism, lot many things. As in business Shastra, these days it has been developed across the world. You just need to meet the right kind of people, develop a model, a case study, a business model on this, and you have a long way to go in this spiritual learning, spiritual healing, spiritual tourism, many other things related to spiritual. I don't come from this background of spiritual business, but I believe that it can have a long, long way in the years and time to come for this as a business model.
I mean, good tip. I mean, if I look at it, touching your passion and making a model out of it is something which is an ingredient which goes into making it a successful model as well. I'm sure that we could go on with this conversation, but due to paucity of time, I would like to request Dr. Madhura. Can we have some tip from you, which we could take away with as a closing remark from your end?
Well, my approach has been entrepreneurial being is very important. Whatever you're doing, even if you're a homemaker, you can be an entrepreneurial person. These people do not understand the larger meaning of entrepreneurial person, being innovative, problem solving, and working out the solutions to the problems, and also be resourceful to handle situations, which I see at all levels. Somewhere we always connect entrepreneurship to business. That is very important, but also otherwise in life. So if you experience that once, you understand and appreciate what really it means. This is what our three other leaders, panelists have spoken so well and so expressively. And I saw in it all the time, the entrepreneurial approach. That's what I feel very happy for being part of this panel today, though I was not able to contribute much. Thank you.
I would not agree with that sentence at all, Dr. Madhura, that you were not able to contribute much. Everything that you have shared with us is a takeaway for us. I would like to now come to Suresh. Suresh, what is one thing that you want us to go away with from this particular discussion?
We have spoken a lot about entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship and other things, but there is something else we touched upon at some point, and maybe I'll just take another half a minute to just talk about that, which is brand. A perception of brand is and on the billboard on the highway. That's not brand. Brand to me is what emotion you can bring in the mind of the consumer. That is brand. So what I suggest every entrepreneur to do is to build your brand. And believe me, brand is not about the amount of money you're paying Times of India. It's not the amount of money you're paying a television channel. It's not the amount of money you're paying for an outdoor advertising campaign. It is about what it does to the emotion of the consumer. So build your brand in inverted commas, brand being nothing but the emotion that it builds in your consumer, in your customer. Once you do that, I don't think there's any stopping. Your Chinese bamboo will keep on growing. Just get there. Get your brand working for you. Make yourself the brand. You don't need, all of us can't afford Virat Kohli, but we can afford ourselves. Let's use our charm to build a brand for ourselves. I think that's my take. That's what I think most entrepreneurs on this panel, on this evening take away. Build your own brand. There is nobody who can build it for you other than you. And the brand you build for yourself is long lasting and it will always stay with you. It will never go away. That's I think my last.
I think that's a very, very inspiring takeaway, and to share his thoughts on this.
Okay, thought on this particular.
It is for what would you want all of us to take away from this discussion today when we talk about way beyond in our business, whether is it a brand, is it a business, is it a behavior towards it? We've actually discussed a lot on all this. So what is it that you want us to work with now?
Yeah, that's what, as I said in the very beginning, like definitely everybody has to follow your passion. Okay, whatever is your passion, you have to put in there. That's where is the one day that passion will bring whatever is the success, wealth, whatever you want to call it as, satisfaction. So everything the passion will appreciate whatever Mr. Suresh said in terms of the brand. Like each one of us are the brand for ourselves. Okay, like each one of us in our own business is the brand. Like very quick one story I want to say. Long time back when I was doing the computer networking business, ours was a small company. Okay, then there was one more company which was all India based. It's a very big brand actually at that point of time. So they were my competitors. Okay, so then when they went to the customer, then they said, no, how can you compare the Webcom, that was my company, to us? We are a national wide company. You cannot compare them to us like that. That's what they were saying. Then the customer said, okay, when you do a designing of a network, tell me who does in your company, he asked. Then he said somebody's name, one person name, and then said that this person. So what experience he has got? So then 2 years, something like that. Then do you know that if computer networking design is done to my organization, defense organization, do you know who does it in Webcom? He asked. So it is done by ANANTHRAM. Okay. So that means I know his capabilities. Then you as a big organization, whatever is an engineer who came out of B last 1 year back, or he is doing the design. Okay. So I trust in him. So that's how we were able to clinch that very big deal against at that point of time. So I fully agree with what Suresh said. I just suddenly remembered this incident when you are mentioning. So you are the brand for your product, each one of you, whoever it is, whether you're working there or whether you're owning the business, that doesn't matter. Each and every person in the organization is a brand itself. Yeah. Thank you.
That yes, you are your own brand and that is how your business grows. I would like to come to.
I don't know about the other participants. Me being a panelist had amazing takeaways. First of all, before I lead people to what can I inspire them about, let me just tell you, I had amazing takeaways. I've been listening to Ananthram. I'm always in awe of whatever he's doing in Bangalore. I always tell him because he has brought so many things new to BNI that I know that he has been doing tremendously. And these things what he has done for BNI Bangalore, what Ananthram and Balaji has already done. And Dr. Madhura, I've listened to you for the first time and absolutely inspiring. I'm going to reach out to you in person, definitely, regarding knowing things, what you're already doing in Bangalore. Suresh taught me many things today. In fact, many, many things. I'll remember this thing for always. Million new mistakes to make in life. Why repeat the same? Right? That was one of the best takeaways for me from Suresh today. Guys, children contribute to 20% of the population of the world, right? But they are 100% of the future of the entire world. 100%, right? For me, the most important thing what people should take away regarding sessions and everything is, whenever you participate in anything, you have to make sure that are you really building a lifestyle for your family and your children? Because those are the people who get impacted the most. If I ask everybody on screen, I could see only the panelists, whom did we really follow in childhood? Whose inspiration did we actually give to people? whom did we actually follow? Only our parents, right? I want to become like my dad. I want to become like my mom. See, how does he talk to a waiter? See, how does he talk to a watchman? Everybody, right? Everybody. Same happens in a negative way as well. I'll share a story. I was traveling, like I went Bihar like 7 years back. I was traveling in a train, local train from a city called Varanasi, a city of Ganges. Varanasi से मैं बिहार पटना एक ट्रेन से 4 घंटे की यात्रा कर रहा था. उसमें एक बंदा AC 2 टियर के अंदर घुसते हैं अपने फैमिली के साथ, अपनी वाइफ के साथ और अपने 2 बच्चों के साथ, और वो घुस के बैठ जाते हैं. TT comes to check the ticket कि आप टिकट दिखा दीजिए अपना. He was like, कोई बात नहीं, आप अपना पास दिखा दीजिए मुझे. He was like कि पास शायद मैं भूल गया हूँ, कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन मैं रेलवे का एम्प्लॉय हूँ या फिर कोई गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय हूँ. He was like, okay, no problem with that. आप बाहर चले जाइए. This is a tier 2 AC compartment. इसमें passes allowed नहीं है. आप किसी जनरल में चले जाइए, वहाँ पे आपको टिकट की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. He was like, why are you embarrassing me? आप मुझे मेरे परिवार के सामने embarrass कर रहे हैं. बोल नहीं, मैं आपको embarrass नहीं कर रहा हूँ. By the time he was talking to the TTE, he was just holding a child in his one arms. The wife was sitting, and one of the child who was probably 10-year-old or maybe 9-year-old or maybe 8-year-old, उन्होंने मेरे कंपार्टमेंट में उनको बैठा के वहां के कर्टन लगा दिया था. AC 2 tier generally has compartments में curtains, okay guys? कर्टन लगा दिया ताकि वो बच्चा उनको दिखे ही नहीं किसी को, so that TT passes away, okay? After that, I was just seeing that child. The child was in fear that how is my daddy talking to the TT, right? After a particular time, the man kept on arguing with the TT saying, आप मेरे साथ जबरदस्ती का बहस कर रहे हैं और क्योंकि मैं आज एक लेडी के साथ हूं इसीलिए आप मुझे बेइज्जत करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. आप मुझे अगर बाहर मिलते और मैं अकेला होता तो आप मेरे साथ ये परेशानी नहीं करते. Guys, my question to you is, what do you think the child who is peeping inside from a curtain, who is a 9-year-old child, would be learning from his dad? Would he be learning something nice or something bad? Absolutely something negative, right? Tomorrow he would repeat the same thing, running in a train into a private compartment without a ticket and arguing with the TT. That's not what we want to give to a child, right? That's not what we promise. So my always thing, I come very young to speak on these things, and shown in very short span of time, coming from again scratch nowhere to somewhere, coming from a tier 4 city, tier 3 city, and residing in a tier 1 city in Surat. So it gives a lot of experience from back end. I would just want to say to all the millennials, because millennials are the people who would be forming the future of the world. I would just want to tell one thing to the entire millennials. दुनिया में से कोई धंधा नहीं बना है जिसमें धंधा होता है. To the parallel lines of Suresh and ANANTHRAM, absolutely, इस दुनिया में बंदे को धंधा मिलता है. Create your brand, create your own identity, create your solopreneurship. इस दुनिया में बंदे को धंधा मिलता है और धंधे को धंधा नहीं मिलता. And with one final quote, which has really come very close to my heart, my wife suggested me this quote, and I've used it to many people across the world. With this final quote, I will just end it here. जो पसीने से नहाते हैं, what do you call it? पानी. जो पानी से नहाते हैं. So in your millennial days, just put in all what you can put in all in what you can put in with all the patience, perseverance, and passion, all the 3 Ps. And believe me, you have a long way and long years and time to achieve. And thank you so much once again, Anita, for having me here, ANANTHRAM, Suresh, and Dr. Madhura. Absolute pleasure sharing the dais with you, and especially Shankar Lal for handling the back end, and Gilraji for making and starting the entire.
Listening to each one of you, it has been a wonderful learning experience for me. Having heard from Dr. Madhura, having heard from Suresh, having heard from Ayush Beat and Ananthram. Ananthram has always been there at every single call. Whether it's a small thing or something big, Ananthram has always been there for us. And we've had a lot to learn and take away from today's session. Yes, and trust me, 120 minutes, it's plus 120 minutes plus, and the time has just flown by because there was so much of interesting learnings that we were having here. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Rotary Bangalore Junction for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so very much, Shankarji, for connecting with me and giving me this opportunity of being a part of all of you. More than anything else, I think I'm one of the most enriched person today. BNI always rocks. Yes, it's always been there for me. It's always backed me. And I would like to say a big thank you to all those who have been present here. You've taken away 2 hours of your time. This shows your interest in and your passion towards what you want to do. There have been multiple takeaways in different ways. I would like to now call upon Mr. Shankar Lal Agarwalji, who is from Rotary. He has been the past president of Rotary Bangalore Junction. He is a distributor of pesticides, and he's been into this business from the last 33 years. He started his independent business at the age of 23, and I'm sure there's a lot to learn from you also, sir. Over to you. We would like you to please present to us the concluding word of thanks.
Thank you, Anita. Good evening to everybody. What a nice evening spent. I think we are with the big stalwarts, leaders carrying tons of experience. And with that experience, I think everybody is going to take away a good amount of experience for a successful entrepreneur. Thank you, Mr. Ayush, Mr. Suresh, and Mr. Ananthram from BNI, and Dr. MADHURA CHATRAPATI, past District Governor of Rotary Bangalore Junction, for sparing your precious time and giving us insight about a successful entrepreneur. I also would like to thank Anita for successfully and precisely and meticulously managing the show, and it was really nice. I'm really thankful to you for conveying this meeting. Big thanks to all the participants, Rotarian, Rotators, Inner Wheel members, BNI member, and friends for joining this. I'm sure with this time spent with these stalwart, we are going to carry a lot of experience for our successful entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. We would also like to thank the backend teams, both from the Rotary and the BNI, who have helped us in conducting this event so flawlessly. Thanks a lot to Mr. Nagaraj also, and to Siddharth. And there are many more people who always work behind the scene, and that is when we have an event as valuable as this. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks. So it was an amazing session, a lot of learnings from each one.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anita. Special session, a very, very, very heartwarming session. And great seeing Ananthram once again.
Yeah.
The building blocks of relationships.
Yeah, Anita, very well conducted.
Thanks to every one of you. There was a lot of learning for me from all of you. It was very insightful and inspirational. Anita, you did a great job. You're a brand now. Thank you.
Yeah.
There.
So thanks, everybody. Good night.
Friend from Rotary.
Yes. Thank you so much. Nagaraj, we can end the meeting now.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nagaraj.